in one line of code. Phew, it shut down the whole city, man.
Did you hear about all of the communications that went down this last week on
I
Thursday?
hear a little bit, but yeah, tell the audience what happened.
Well, so apparently a lot of phone carriers went down. I have Verizon. I didn't really see any outages or anything like that, and my internet didn't seem to go down. But I think a lot of people in AT&T and then all of the people that use the AT&T towers and things like that, they all lost coverage and things went down. Communications were down for, I think, most of the day, at least half a day on this. But it's very weird how it's across the U.S. We're not talking about just like localized in Houston or Texas or the South, but we're talking about across the United States. Communications went down, and they didn't know how or why or what. And I haven't really seen any news that said what it was.
It's one of those things that you don't realize that you have it until you don't have it, right? Like a power, right? So, but when infrastructure goes down, I'll tell you a story. I'm techie, right? Some of my friends, obviously, they're in the industry. I have these couple friends that they work in this company. They actually needed to give some maintenance to the ISPs. The ISPs are basically the companies that provide internet to cities and countries, right? In some countries, they have a one firewall, like one thing being able to block content in and out, like in China. My friend was doing some maintenance, and he had a typo in one line almost of code. Phew, it shut down the whole city, man.
Oh, no.
and he started freaking out. Then they were able to recover it like in 10, 15 minutes. The whole city was down, right? Yeah, I'm not going to tell the company, but he got fired.
You hear those stories like of these companies that are like supporting like whole cities or counties of something like that, and they have like they're running all the like county websites off of like a desktop that's sitting on someone's floor. And they accidentally kick the power cord underneath the desk, and the whole city loses access to these critical networks. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Maybe someone at AT&T, they accidentally kicked the power cord.
Or always blame it on the intern, right?
Blame it on the intern. You know what? It's so funny. I always remember in one of my very first interviews when I was interviewing at Hewlett Packard, it was as an intern actually when I first started over there. And they're like, okay, what do you do if your network's down and you're looking at the server? What's the first thing that you start doing to try and troubleshoot? I was like, you check to see if the power is plugged in. That was actually what they were looking for. It's like, yeah, you check the cables. So as an intern, I was like 1 out of 100 or something like that actually got the right answer. And they're like, okay, we gotta hire this guy. He actually knows what he's doing. I wouldn't doubt it. It's something like that happened at AT&T. The communications all went down. But speaking of that, I know we talked about it or mentioned it before. This is that movie called Leave the World Behind. And it's the one with Julia Roberts. It was on Netflix. Yeah. If I were to describe it, it's kind of as the world outside plunges into darkness because communications went down and chaos ensues. There's 2 different families that kind of sought refuge and they were trapped in this kind of power struggle. But there was kind of this big uncertainty about this crisis that was emerging. And in this movie is very similar. It's like all of a sudden communications go down. No one has the ability to communicate with each other. People are kind of left without really being able to navigate. In the movie, things kind of break down very, very quickly once you don't have communications. For us, it didn't seem to happen quite like that because it was only a partial failure, it seems like, of our communications. But it makes you think, what if all of the communications shut down? What would have happened, you know?
When I'm thinking of those, it's funny because nobody says anything about the sewage system.
Oh, you don't want that to back up.
So it's like, guess what? All of the water supply and literally the sewage system too, right? So it would be a mess.
Well, you know, they always say that there's the Russian hackers or whatever targeting some of our municipal systems, our water treatment plants, things like that. If we don't have clean water, things break down. Only the paranoid survive, right?
Only the paranoid survive.
Some of the rumors when all these communications went down last week were that, hey, maybe someone launched an EMP at us and we didn't know, and it knocked out some critical infrastructure. There was some talks about that, like when you're looking at some of the conspiracy stuff, was there an attack that was done on us, like EMP style? And EMP is electromagnetic pulse, which basically would duplicate what a solar flare would do. And it would take out kind of like you see in the movies, right? You push the button and you see the EMP pulse go out and it takes takes out like a mile's worth of electronics or electrical infrastructure, right? Someone pointed out that there was X-class flare the day before, a 1.8, very, very small, but still releases a certain amount of radiation into the environment. Maybe some of our infrastructure got affected by that. Sometimes when you get a flare like that and there's some radiation that comes along with it, it's enough to flip bits in communications. Like in the digital communications, it'll flip the 0 to a 1 or a 1 to a 0. So some of the communications get funky. So maybe it was something like that, but we're still really unsure. No one's fessing up to what happened. Was there some kind of hack? I don't know. Let y'all know if we find something out. So that's all we got. So just remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear y'all comment, and we love to interact with y'all. Be sure to share with your friends. That's how we get this to grow. And we like spreading this content with you. And just as a teaser, don't you know, pump it up. We're going to have a video coming up for Bitcoin. So that's going to
go viral. Ready.
Ready for it. We'll see y'all next time. Dale.
Dale.